Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Angela with She Rises Studios, and today I am so excited to introduce you to our newest author, Nancy Diamond. Nancy's book, The Pieces of My Life, is out today in ebook, and we have the privilege of having Nancy here with us, and we're going to have a little chat. So, Nancy, thank you so much for joining me today.
And thank you for having me. It's my
So,
pleasure.
I'm so excited for you. Your book is out today. So, can you tell us a little bit about The Pieces of My Life?
It's actually the pieces of my life. Um, I wasn't intending to write a book. That wasn't the intention at all. Um, I had grown up with abuse from the time I was 3 years old, and I never got out of that. And years and years and years, and I had no idea what the problem was with many parts of my life. And then a few years ago, when the perpetrator passed away, I started writing a journal. And the journal was to help me to heal. And as I began writing, I realized so many other things that had taken place in my life that were all wrapped around that one thing. And so I kept on writing, and it became a long story. And as I began to write and I began to feel better about myself, I was able to share with people what had happened that I'd never been able to share before because I was always afraid.
Mhm.
And they said, "Oh, we're so glad you shared because, we know people who've been through that." And then when I was finished, I thought, well, maybe I should publish it because
Mhm.
there are other people out there who are having the same problems or similar problems, and you just don't heal. And the writing for me was a healing,
Yeah.
and having someone recommend She Rises was wonderful because in writing all these things down, I was able then to heal parts of myself that had never been healed. And so, I would recommend, anybody who's going through a problem, write it down and write down your feelings because I didn't even know some of my feelings, what they were, until I saw them on paper and I read them. And
Mhm.
I actually got emotional reading my own story, saying, oh my God, I can't even believe I was like this. And I did
Mhm.
this.
Wow. And so can you elaborate a bit just on how, the healing process that you experienced through writing and revisiting your memories, how has that impacted your life now?
Well, it made me much more outgoing in places that I felt that I didn't belong
Mhm.
because of my life and what I'd been through. Um, Now all of a sudden I had a sense of belonging. I said, I'm really not that different from everyone else,
Mhm.
and I really thought I was. I thought I was a little strange, and you know, and I've realized now that maybe we're all a little strange.
Absolutely.
That you know, and I found in doing this and talking to other people that so many other people have felt that way and were afraid to vocalize. And so here I am, and now I'm an author. you know
You sure are.
and,
You
and
sure
I
are.
it wasn't something that I aspired to, although I've written little stories all of my life
Mhm.
because I liked it, but I never thought of publishing anything that I wrote. um, but and it's empowered me. It's given me strength. And
That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you and for the people who will get to read your book and, feel less alone and know that there are other people out there that, can relate and that there isn't anything wrong with them, right?
absolutely. And
So,
mistakes are made
mhm,
to let us grow. I have grandchildren. Now my grandchildren are adults now. I have great grandchildren.
that's
But
amazing.
when my grandchildren say, "Oh, Grandma, I made a mistake," and I said, "Well, don't be sad about it. Learn from it."
Mhm.
because everything that we do that we did wrong contains a lesson.
Absolutely.
And the lesson makes us who we are. And sometimes that lesson will help us to grow, and sometimes it will help other people to grow. So,
Mhm.
we just have to consider the whole of life as a lesson.
Absolutely.
You know, take the lesson from it when it comes, and don't ever regret a decision that you've made. I made some pretty bad ones,
Haven't we
and
all?
and and here I am.
Yeah.
And I think I'm turned out to be a pretty nice lady.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, in your journey of overcoming abuse, how do you think the current resources available for survivors compares to the support that you had or didn't have during your own struggles?
Well, there was no support when
Hmm.
when I went through this. I mean, from my mother who wouldn't accept what was going on. See, and and I realized later, much later, years later, that she was afraid too.
Yeah.
She was being abused in a different way than I was, but but she was afraid. And
Hmm.
there was a whole cycle of people afraid of a man, and that it never should have happened. And I talked to many people, and all the people that I thought would help me could not or would not.
Hmm.
And now it's amazing. I see what's happening now with the Me Too movement, and I'm so proud of those women because I couldn't have done that at that time. You know, and I don't know how some of them could do it today.
Hmm.
They're just really brave women, and they've shown that we really do have power against abusers, whether they're men or women. If someone has control over your life and you think they have power, they don't.
Hmm.
And it took so many years for me to find that out, and to be able to voice it and let other people know you can be hurt by someone, and they can say I'm powerful and I can control you, but they really can't. You know, you really have to take control of your own life, and let you be the boss, because we are women are powerful.
Yeah.
And I believe that we're more powerful than men, but we've been locked into this thing, especially in the United States, that that the man is the superior being, and he should have control over everything. And
Yeah.
women are getting the picture now, and we're doing a great job. And I
Amazing.
know
I
we're
love
going
it.
to continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned, this book serves as both a catharsis and a source of hope for others. How do you envision your writing contributing to the broader conversation around abuse survivors and their stories?
Um, I don't think I'm understanding what you're wanting.
What is your hope for how your sharing your story can contribute to the conversation, the movement towards women, speaking out, reclaiming their power, recognizing their worth, right? I mean, your courage to share your story opens up a space for other women to share theirs, because when we see the bravery reflected back to us, the courage reflected back to us, it often gives us the strength to do the same. So, what is your hope for people reading your book?
Well, I'm hoping that as they read, they can see some of themselves in me,
Mhm.
and they initially will be able to confront themselves, confront the fact that, you know, like I did, like I wasn't addressing this myself.
Mhm.
I wasn't admitting that I was a puppet, that I was under control of someone else. And that's the first thing you have to do, is admit it to yourself and say, well, yes, this person did this to me, and subsequently other people have done it to me in years, in successive years. Um, and I've allowed that to happen, because I still had this thing in my head, and there are things that trigger. those emotions. Someone will say something to you, and just the words that they say will bring back a memory of something that you've hidden for years.
Mm-hmm.
And you react in the way you would react to the person in the past. We've got to learn not to do that. That you're a different person now, and that person doesn't have control of you. So now you have to reframe your mind to think, you know, I need to address this differently now, because this person can't hurt me. This person doesn't even know what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
What they said triggered an emotion in me that was wrong. So I need to treat this person differently. You know, they're not out to get me, and then you can begin to rearrange your life and rearrange mostly your emotions, because
Mm-hmm.
it's the emotions that got me anyhow. You know,
Yeah.
the feelings that and you know it was not until I started writing my book that I was able to open up and even tell my husband things that he had never heard in all the years we've been married.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together over 50 years, but you know
Congratulations.
when when the things happen and you think, oh my goodness, and he said, even when writing the book, there were parts of the book that he said, I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
He never told me that. Well, there were things that were so deep inside me that, that they didn't come out until I did the reading. And, but by telling my story, I was able to heal myself. And I'm hoping that other people can heal too.
Amazing.
And at the back of the book, I have resources for
Mm-hmm.
people that need help. Um, and I also have my information if people want to get in touch with me and find out, you know, what I can do to help them or where they can go to find help. I'll be happy to help. You know,
Love
that
it.
the whole thing is a mission. It's trying to, you know, make sure that other people find the way.
Amazing. Good for you, Nancy. That's so amazing. And so now you mentioned you have at least two more books in the pipeline. Any chance you can provide us with a glimpse about their themes or stories?
But well, I have one book that's probably about a third done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the name of it, I think, is going to be um, On a Ship Without a Rudder. On a
Okay.
Trip on a Ship Without a Rudder. Um, because my current husband and I, when we got together, um, we only lived in in a home for a short time, and we both wanted to travel. So we sold his place, we sold my place. Um, we had a high top van, camper van, and we got a little 20-foot trailer, and we started traveling. We just didn't have anything except that stuff, and everybody said, "Oh, you can never do that, because it'll cost you a fortune, and you're going to want a home." And we traveled for almost 4 years,
Wow.
and we'd go south in the winter, and then out west to California, and then come back up. We'd go back to the Northeast to see the kids in the summer, and it was wonderful. And the things that I learned on that trip, history that had been buried, that I never
Mm-hmm.
learned in a history book.
Yeah.
And when you go to these new states and new cities and you live there for a while, it's not like a tourist who goes, you know, to Orlando and goes to Disney World. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you go to San Antonio, you go to the Alamo, you walk in the Alamo, and you see, what happens. You learn about the history, and
Mm-hmm.
you go, a few miles down the street to the Mexican border, and you realize that the Mexican border kept changing, and there's an area between Mexico and the United States that is like a neutral zone.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that I've learned, and I want to pass that on too, because that history may be gone soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we
Absolutely.
need to realize, there's so many beautiful places in our country, and so many great people to meet, you know, all kinds of people, and um, they have different cultures and different lifestyles, and it was really a wonderful experience, and we're so glad that we did it.
Amazing. That's amazing. Oh, well, I'm excited to see that one when it comes out because, I mean, congratulations, Nancy. It's so exciting. Your book is out now. It's out in ebook. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And pick up your copy, your ebook copy of The Pieces of My Life by Nancy Diamond today on Amazon. And we'd love to hear your feedback. Tell us the part that resonated most with you, what you were most, encouraged by, or what deeply, affected you. And Nancy would love to hear your feedback. So thank you so much for joining me today, Nancy. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you.